prison. There are several compelling reasons to do this. First of all, we have reached the point where we are now spending $2.7 million per inmate at Guantanamo Bay. To contrast that, an inmate at a supermax federal prison facility here in the U.S. costs roughly $78,000 a year. And this is only going to become more expensive as the temporary facility at Guantanamo Bay is forced to last longer and longer. So the cost alone is reason, I believe, to close it. But also, we have the larger issue. President George W. Bush wanted to close Guantanamo Bay, as did Secretary Gates, as did Senator McCain. Many very conservative Republicans came out in favor of closing Guantanamo back in 2008. Why? Because the military told them that it was harming our ability to effectively fight al-Qaeda and affiliated forces, that the presence of Guantanamo Bay was recognized as an international eyesore that undermined U.S. credibility with our allies abroad as we tried to prosecute that fight. There is no need for Guantanamo. So argument number one is all of the problems with it. Argument number two is that there is no need for it, because what we could do with the 154 inmates who are in Guantanamo Bay, first of all, some number of them, I think it's roughly half, have been deemed not to be a threat to the United States. We just don't have any place to send them, so we can do foreign transfers, which we're beginning to work on. But the rest of them that are a threat can be housed in supermax facilities in the United States of America. Now, we constantly hear the argument that we can't bring terrorists to the United States. And the way that argument is stated, it's like we're bringing them here and setting them free. We're not. We're going to lock them up and hold them. In fact, there was a recent ruling of the courts that made it clear those inmates would not be freed in the United States under any set of circumstances. And in addition to that, we have the ability in the United States of America to hold dangerous people. I will submit to you that if we didn't have that ability, we would be in a whole lot of trouble regardless of the people at Guantanamo Bay. We currently house over 300 terrorists here in the U.S., including Ramzi Youssef, the Blind Sheikh, and a number of others. We have been able to successfully hold terrorists in the United States. We also hold mass murderers and gang leaders and mobsters. We have the ability to safely hold these people in the United States of America. So there's no downside to doing this. And the upside is to finally do what President George W. Bush recognized back in 2007 and 2008 that we needed to do, to close down Guantanamo Bay because of the international perception that it goes against our values, and because of the very fact that it does go against our values, to have people locked away in a prison that was originally set up under the hopes that somehow we would be able to avoid habeas corpus. Well, the Supreme Court said no. Guantanamo Bay is effectively under U.S. control, so habeas corpus applies anyway. So same amount of rights, same everything. It is simply an international eyesore that we keep open for no good reason. This bill has prohibitions on closing it. My amendment would put in place a plan to close Guantanamo Bay by the end of 2016 and enable the steps necessary to accomplish that. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Washington reserves the balance of his time. For what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
I'd like to